Can Rajat Patidar finally break the jinx and get RCB their first title?
Now, moving on to two teams that have never won the IPL, they had a very interesting time at the auction. Punjab Kings not only revamped their whole squad and their captain, but even RCB with a lot of experience around have gone with a very inexperienced captain. Before we get into the RCB squad and break the numbers down, hit that subscribe button.
RCB went into this auction with a big budget, which meant that their fans had a lot of expectations out of them this season. They took over social media to try and tell their management what players they wanted. And it looked like they want a complete revamp. It also looked like they want the homecoming of a few of their older players. For example, KL Rahul, Mitchell Stark, Yuzvendra Chahal. But RCB's management had some different ideas. RCB went heavy for Phil Salt, Livingston, Tim David, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Josh Hazelwood. They also bought back Devdutt Padikkal, who was honestly very good for them back in the day at a very good price. They also targeted Jacob Bethel and Swapnil Singh as their RTM. They also managed to get the services of Krunal Pandya. Overall, they do have a decent squad, and it looks like the RCB management have put an emphasis on players who, well, are known for hitting the long balls. If you think about their purchases, they got Tim David, Livingston, Phil Salt, and even Jacob Bethel, who have a reputation for hitting the big sixes. This clearly means that RCB want their entire team to bat around Virat and Rajat Patidar, their captain this season, where they can build the innings while the rest of these purchases can all go for the big hits. Yet another purchase of theirs who was quite interesting was Jitesh Sharma. They already had Phil Salt, who is an international wicket keeper. They still went heavy for Jitesh Sharma and got him for 11 crores. Does that mean they're backing him as a batter? Or does that mean that he might keep wickets and we'll see Phil Salt on the field? That'll be very interesting to see. But if you look at the middle order, they have Jitesh Sharma and Liam Livingston, who were part of an inconsistent Punjab Kings last season. Although the Chinnaswamy surface will help them, it will be interesting to see how these six hitters come together as a unit. And while Phil Salt had a great season and a great partnership with Sunil Narayan for KKR, Liam Livingston has not lit up the IPL by his own standards. Jitesh Sharma as well got into the Indian setup because of his performances for the Punjab Kings, but didn't live up to the hype that he created for himself last season. Tim David, on the other hand, was let go by the Mumbai Indians, and while he showed glimpses of what he can do, he does lack a little bit of consistency. Overall, they do have quality players, but their middle order is a little bit of a hit and a miss. They might win you games single-handedly sometimes, but can they be consistent? That'll be the key for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Their most exciting pick though this season has to be Bhuvneshwar Kumar. They've always lacked that quality Indian bowler, apart from Mohammad Siraj in the last few years. And I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar would really suit this surface. In the Chinnaswamy, we have seen that the first few overs you can get a little bit of swing, and who better than Bhuvneshwar Kumar to make the most of that? Along with Josh Hazelwood and Yash Dayal, he completes a great pace attack for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. And while their pace attack looks settled, the spin and the consistency of the middle order is a little bit of a question for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Are they a top 4 team? We'll have to wait and watch.
It's important to establish a couple of metrics before we get into the stats of each of the players from both franchises. The first metric we'll look at is the IPL mean. Now, this is data from 2021 across different T20 leagues all over the world. And what we'll be doing is taking the mean of the strike rate and batting average for all of the players who are part of the IPL this time. The second metric we'll be looking at is the top 20 IPL mean, which is the same thing as the IPL mean, but for the top 20 best players in the IPL this time.
Now, the best batter for the RCB team in terms of average and strike rate also happens to be their captain, Rajat Patidar. If you look at this graph, you'll realize he's better than the top IPL mean in terms of average and strike rate, and he has such impressive numbers. He averages 40 since 2021 with a strike rate of 163. And then if you break his T20 innings down into 3 phases, you'll realize that his escalation in terms of strike rate is insane. His strike rate in the power play is 118, but you should also know that he's not a top order batter who bats a lot in the power play. But this strike rate skyrockets to 171 in the middle phase. Imagine being a middle order batter coming in the middle phase of an IPL innings and having fielders in the boundary and having a strike rate of 171. And this rises up even more during the death to 225. In all of the IPL videos we've done so far, he has the highest strike rate at the death as a batter.
From Rajat Patidar, we move to the superstar of the RCB lineup, and that's Virat Kohli. Of course, Virat Kohli needs no introduction in terms of how he has been doing in the T20 format ever since he has started playing for the RCB franchise. But if you look at his numbers since 2021, his average has been extremely impressive, but something that is talked about a lot is his strike rate, especially his numbers in those middle overs. Despite him having an average of 40 plus in all phases of the game, his strike rate does come down from the power play, which is at 132 to 126 in those middle overs. The reason Virat Kohli's numbers in the middle overs could be so low is because of the fact that this is the period which is dominated by spin bowlers, and we know that Virat Kohli has had his fair share of struggles against spin in the recent past. However, However, he does accelerate towards the end of the innings, and in the death phase of the T20 game, his strike rate goes up to 187. Both Virat as well as Rajat have a good synergy and partnership going on, and this is also because of the fact that they have the highest non-boundary strike rates in this franchise.
Someone who might potentially open with Virat Kohli is Phil Salt, and we already know how destructive he can be. He doesn't have the best of averages since 2021. He only averages 27, but has a strike rate of 154. Now, unlike a Virat Kohli who has a strike rate of 130 in the power play, this man has a strike rate of 156. And by the end of a T20 innings, he is someone who maintains a high strike rate, because even in the middle phases, he has a strike rate of 148, and by the end, that is if he does stay, he has a strike rate of 203. And this is also reflected in his balls per boundary. That is the amount of balls he consumes before he hits a boundary. He hits a boundary every 4.4 deliveries, which means almost every 5th delivery there is a boundary off his bat. And he will be someone who complements Virat Kohli very, very well at the opening slot because of the way Virat bats and the aggressive style of play that Phil Salt has.
Moving now from one English batter to the other, Liam Livingstone is also going to be a part of the RCB franchise this time. In terms of numbers, he too is a very explosive batsman, and his numbers are very similar to that of Phil Salt. With an average of 28 and a strike rate of 145, Liam Livingstone is the perfect batter to come for the RCB in that middle order. However, with Liam Livingstone, I do think that he is slightly overhyped, and more than just his batting ability, RCB will also benefit from the fact that he can bowl a few overs in the middle. If we look at his phase-wise numbers, he predominantly is a batter who plays in those middle overs where he has a strike rate of 137. And while his averages or strike rate in any of the phases of the game does not stand out as much, one thing that is a benefit that Livingstone will bring to this team is his vast experience. Like his English counterpart Phil Salt, Liam Livingstone as well has played a lot of games in the T20 franchise format since 2021, and if you'll have a look here, he's played the third most number of games.
Now, the potential finishers for the RCB squad would be Tim David, Jitesh Sharma and Romario Shepherd. All of them have a strike rate of above the IPL mean, but Tim David and Jitesh Sharma particularly have a strike rate better than the top 20 IPL mean. Jitesh Sharma has a strike rate of 165 and Tim David has a strike rate of 160. What's important for these guys, especially the finishers, is to have a good balls per boundary record, and these two guys really do. Jitesh Sharma has a balls per boundary of 4.3, whereas Tim David has a balls per boundary of 4.7. And as finishers, especially in the last couple of years where RCB has struggled, they will need these two guys to stand up.
One last batter to cover before we move on to the bowlers is Jacob Bethel. Jacob Bethel was spotted by Andy Flower and has been touted as the next big thing of English cricket, but he clearly has not seemed to show that in whatever matches that we've seen him play. His record too is not very suggestive of that, with an average of just 24 and a strike rate of 136. However, it is still early days for him. He is a left-hand batter, and it will be interesting to see if he can make his place in that RCB lineup as the season progresses.
The two potential opening bowlers for the RCB squad would be Josh Hazlewood and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Both Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazlewood have such impressive numbers in the power play. Both have an economy of 6.5, which means they concede just a little more than 6 runs per over in the power play when there are only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. Of course, if you look at these numbers, they progressively get worse as the T20 innings progresses, but we do know Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazlewood would be used a lot at the death. Hazlewood does have an economy of 9.4 and Bhuvneshwar Kumar is slightly worse with an economy of 9.7. Now, if you look at this graph, it's no surprise that the best 2 fast bowlers, that's Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazlewood, are better than the IPL mean.
Coming to the spin department and the options that RCB have, they've picked up Krunal Pandya as well as Suyash Sharma, and these two can be a vital cog for the RCB lineup in those middle overs. Krunal Pandya has a very impressive economy of just 7, while his average is slightly high, upwards of 30, but he does do a good job holding the innings together and keeping it tight. Contrary to a lot of spinners in this tournament, Krunal Pandya does not have such good numbers in the power play, but his numbers are extremely good when it comes to the middle overs and the death. While his economy in the power play is around 8.4, when it comes to the middle overs, that number comes down to just 7, and when it comes to the final few overs, that number just goes up slightly to 7.6. The added benefit with Krunal Pandya is that he has all of this vast experience because he's been playing T20 cricket regularly. Not only that, he's also no mug with the bat. He can come in and hit that long ball, and so he'll be great for the balance of this RCB lineup. Suyash Sharma will be a great complement to Krunal Pandya's style of play because at one end, Krunal Pandya will be making sure that the batsmen don't get away with easy runs, where Suyash Sharma can then go for wickets. If you look at Suyash Sharma's numbers, he too has a decent economy of 7.3, but it's his bowling average that stands out, with him getting a wicket every 21 runs. RCB will hope that Suyash Sharma can play a similar role to what Yuzvendra Chahal had done for all of those years, especially at Chinnaswamy where the ground is small, and so the leg spinner could come into the picture.
What's interesting is Yash Dayal, who has already played for the RCB squad, has the worst numbers in terms of bowlers as compared to the people that we have picked so far. He has an economy of 8.7 with an average of 31. And in no phase of the T20 innings, his economy comes below 8, which is horrendous. His economy in the power play starts from 8.7. In the middle phase, he has an economy of 9.5. And at the death, that rises up to 10.3. Having said that, he is a left-arm pacer who's had a good domestic season, so he would want to convert that in this year's IPL. And another fast bowler that goes in line statistically with Yash Dayal and how bad they've been so far is Lungi Nagidi. He has an economy of 8.9 with a lot better average of 23.
Now, while this is the main bowling lineup of the RCB team, they do have 5th and 6th bowling options in the likes of Liam Livingstone, Romari Shepherd as well as Tim David. While RCB will try their best to not come to these options because of the kind of numbers they have, they do provide that cushion, especially Liam Livingstone with his leg spin can come in handy as batters will try to take him on but could fall prey to his leg spin.
It'll be interesting to see what playing 11 RCB feels out. Well, here is a probable 11 for them this season. RCB are likely to start with Virat Kohli and Phil Salt, which on paper looks like a great opening pair. Phil Salt can go berserk from ball 1 and, well, Virat, while he takes his time, can play the long innings and batters can bat around him. At 3, you'll have Devdutt Padikkal, who is a local boy and this is his home ground. He knows how to score runs here and off late has found great success in domestic cricket. This might be the restart that he needs to make his career at this level. He's a great player and has great potential, but struggled with the Rajasthan Royals. Can he come back to his home ground and score those runs? That'll be interesting to see. At 4, you'll have the captain of the Royal Challengers Bangalore this season, Rajat Patidar. He's been in great touch and he's a real quality player. In those middle overs, he can really take the attack to the opposition against their spinners and is going to be key in that middle order for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. At 5, you'll have Livingston. At 6, you'll have Jitesh Sharma. And at 7, you'll have Tim David. This makes for a really exciting middle order, and honestly speaking, the 3 of them are big 6 hitters. If they get going, RCB can chase down any total that's put in front of them, especially at the Chinnaswamy. The RCB management made it clear with the way they've bought these players that they wanted players who can hit the big 6s. They also have Jacob Bethel, who might be an option instead of Tim David, but that middle order does have a reputation of hitting big 6s. Will they be able to be consistent? That'll be interesting to watch, and I think that's the key for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. At number 8, they'll have Krunal Pandya. At 9, they'll have Swapnil Singh. At 10, they'll have Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and at 11, they'll have Josh Hazelwood. Here, the impact player can be Yash Dayal. The interesting thing to see here is that they battle number 10 because, well, we've seen Bhuvneshwar Kumar hit those important boundaries, and Swapnil Singh and Krunal Pandya are good all-rounders. This attack looks like one of the best pace attacks that RCB have put together in the last few years at least. Bhuvneshwar Kumar will be one to watch because he will be key for RCB in picking up those early wickets. They also have options of Liam Livingstone and Tim David who can, well, roll their arm over, but it'll be interesting to see how Swapnil Singh and Krunal Pandya can manage those middle overs. Overall, they look like a power-packed team, but consistency might be an issue for them there, with the likes of Livingstone, Jitesh and Tim David showing glimpses of how good they are, but not being able to do that consistently in the IPL will raise certain doubts in the minds of the RCB fans.
Going from one team that has never won the IPL to the other, let's talk about the Punjab Kings.
Ricky Ponting was appointed as the coach for Punjab Kings this season, and you can see his influence straight away in the auction. They went after a few Australian players, for example, Marcus Stoinis, Glenn Maxwell, Josh Inglis, and then also managed to get certain players that Ricky Ponting has managed before. They got Shreyas Iyer, who is now appointed as their captain, who Ricky Ponting said was a non-negotiable for him. The same can be said for Arshdeep Singh and Yuzvendra Chahal, who are great picks in that auction. Punjab Kings also went under the radar in terms of some interesting buys. They got the likes of Marco Jansen, Nihal Vadera, Priyansh Arya, who actually had a lot of depth to this squad. As Ricky Ponting mentioned in the auction, he wanted to pick up some key Indian players, while the overseas players can just come in and promote them and help the team with that extra boost. It'll be interesting to see what type of team Punjab Kings field out, because they can bat very deep with the sort of setup they have. They also tried and picked up all-rounders, which means that they can play that extra batter, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put up a lot of big totals this season. Apart from Shreyas Iyer, in that top 5, they will have players who are known for their attacking nature, and it'll be interesting to watch how they play around Iyer at this time. It has to be said that the most exciting buy for the Punjab Kings this season is their captain. Shreyas Iyer will be instrumental for their season because he will bat at number 3, and him having a good season will directly relate to the Punjab Kings doing well. He has proven his captaincy by winning the IPL last season and will be raring to go again this time. With the new team and the new setup, he does have the resources to make it to the top 4. It'll be interesting to see how he uses them though.
It is no surprise that Punjab Kings is an extremely Australian batting heavy lineup. This was obviously something that was going to happen because Ricky Ponting is their coach. He would have liked to have Australian batters. It just makes it a lot easier for the team to proceed in the season. Punjab Kings have picked some of the biggest hitters in the Australian cricket circuit in the form of Josh Inglis, Marcus Stoinis as well as Glenn Maxwell. What also also works in their favor is that these three batters can bat in any position right from the top of the order all the way down to number 6. If you look at this graph and statistically speaking, Glenn Maxwell of course is the leader in terms of the batters who's best amongst this group. Josh Inglis has also been in good form recently and he will play a major role in this season. While they all have averages around the 30 mark, what differentiates these batters is their strike rates. While Marcus Stoinis has a strike rate of 142, that number goes up to 149 for Josh Inglis and it goes even higher for Glenn Maxwell at 158. Maxwell and Stoinis are seasoned campaigners and we all know what they can do. However, with Josh Inglis, it is important to look at his phase-wise play in the T20 format and what he's done. Josh Inglis has his best time in the middle phase of a T20 innings. That's where he shines the most in terms of the number of runs he scored and the kind of average that he has. But if you look at his strike rate, it is something that consistently goes up throughout the innings of a T20 format, with a strike rate that climbs from 136 in the power play all the way up to 189 in the death overs. Even if you look at the balls per boundary, it is the highest for Glenn Maxwell at 4.4, and this is where he's going to be a very important cog in that batting order.
Now, someone who is in red hot form and has done really well for the Indian team, not just in the recent Champions Trophy, but in the last couple of years, that's the new captain, Shreyas Iyer. What's interesting with Shreyas Iyer is that his strike rate is not the most impressive when you look at the T20 format, but his average is better than the IPL mean. He has an average of 35 with a strike rate of 141. 141 isn't the worst strike rate. If anything, it is good for a middle order batter, especially for someone like a Shreyas Iyer who will look to bat on top of the order for the Punjab Kings. But he does fall short when you look at his phase-wise T20 strike rate. In the power play, he only strikes at 117. In the middle phase, he has a strike rate of 133. And even at the death, it doesn't pick up by a lot. He only strikes at around 160. For a batter like Shreyas Iyer, who really wants to put his foot on the white ball format in the Indian team, he will need to be more attacking than usual. I do say this, but last year was a step in the right direction because at the death, he did have a strike rate of 201, which when you compare to 160, which is his overall strike rate at the death, is a huge leap.
Another batter who the Punjab Kings will desperately hope has a good season is Prabhsimran Singh. Now, Prabhsimran Singh has been around the Indian setup for a couple of years now and he has been doing fairly well. In fact, he's proved to be a reliable opener and someone who takes the attack to the opposition. Even if we look at his phase-wise play, right from the power play, he strikes at 130, which is a good starting point, but it does pick up through the rest of the innings. However, it only goes up to 177 in the death. An advantage that Prabhsimran Singh has is that his balls per boundary count is pretty good. He is a player who gets a boundary every 4.5 deliveries, and this is something that's going to be crucial at the top, not only to cement his position, but also to put pressure on the opposition bowlers.
Looking at Punjab Kings' lower middle order, they have a couple of options with Nehal Vadera and Shashank Singh. Shashank Singh in particular did really well for the Punjab Kings last season, not just finishing games, but winning matches for the team. He does have a strike rate of about 143, which are decent numbers at the death. Nehal Vadera too was a very impressive batter for the Mumbai Indians with an average of 24 and a strike rate of 134. These aren't the most impressive numbers, but you gotta remember that these batters are still young and have a lot to prove in the IPL.
Coming to a young Indian batsman and someone I think might be an X factor for the Punjab Kings this season is Priyansh Arya. Now, Priyansh Arya came into the spotlight when he hit those 6 sixes in the Delhi Premier League. He's an aggressive batter and his balls per boundary is the best in all of the analysis that we've done for all of the teams thus far. Priyansh Arya has a balls per boundary ratio of just 3.8, which means that he's getting a boundary in less than 4 deliveries. It will be interesting to see if Punjab Kings are ready to take the punt and have him open the innings or if they'll ease him into the season later on.
The main fast bowler in this team, who's also a left-arm pacer, who's also the highest T20 wicket taker for the Indian team, will be Arshdeep Singh. He has an overall economy of 8.3 with an average of 22. He doesn't have the most impressive IPL numbers, but because of the form that he has been in for the Indian team and his standout domestic season, it's almost guaranteed that these numbers will only improve from now on. He will be someone who will start off with the new ball. We do know that he can swing the ball both ways and will look to get wickets. He has an economy of 7.8 with an average of 25 and a strike rate of 19 in the first phase of a T20 innings. His numbers do worsen as the innings progresses, but again, it is almost guaranteed that these numbers will improve because of the way he has been bowling in the last couple of seasons.
Another left-arm pacing option that the Punjab Kings do have is Marco Jansen. Marco Jansen has a fairly good economy of 8.1 and his average is also decent at 25 runs per wicket. While he does have good cutters and a bouncer, One thing that might make the Punjab Kings favor him over some of the other bowlers is the fact that Marco Jansen can also bat a little bit, and this might come in handy considering the high scoring games that might happen in the IPL this season.
What will be important for the bowling lineup in the Punjab Kings are the two spinners who have done very well. Harpreet Brar in the last season was very impressive with the new buy Yuzvendra Chahal. Both of them have an economy of about 7.5, and we do know they can bowl at any stage of a T20 match. They can start off with the new ball and bowl at the death too. Interestingly enough, as compared to Chahal, Harpreet Brar has an excellent economy in the middle phase of a T20 match with an economy of 6.8. And the fact that one is a left arm spinner and the other being a leg spinner is just a good combination of spinners to have within the team. What makes them stand out even more is that the economy is better than the IPL mean, which means it will be important to use them efficiently because they will control the middle overs and get some wickets for you.
While we did cover one overseas fast bowling option in Marco Jansen, if we look at the others and if we look at this graph, they don't have particularly impressive numbers. The likes of Aaron Hardy, Xavier Bartlett, as well as Azmatullah Omarzai, all of them have numbers that are much higher than the IPL mean. This means that not only are they more expensive, but they also don't get wickets that often for the number of runs that they've given away. All of them have economy rates in excess of 8.3, and the only other overseas fast bowler who stands out is Loki Ferguson. With an economy of 7.74 and a bowling average of just 21 runs per wicket, what you get with Loki Ferguson is that extra pace, and he's also really good at mixing in those cutters with those fast balls itself, and this means that he can be a really good option for the Punjab Kings in the death overs. It will be interesting to see the kind of fast bowling combination that the Punjab Kings go ahead with if the Australian fast bowlers might get a look in because of the fact that Ricky Ponting is the coach, and because of the number of fast bowlers that they have, it is going to be a headache to see which 2 or 3 fast bowlers get to play the games through the season.
It'll be interesting to see what playing 11 the Punjab Kings put out this time around because, well, they've picked up some really good all-rounders this season. Let's see how their playing 11 pans out. Praatibh in English will open the innings, and we've seen how dangerous Praatibh can be in the previous IPLs. He goes from ball number 1 and is not afraid to take the attack to the opposition. Alongside Josh Inglis, this looks like a formidable pair, and it'll be interesting to see how these two wicketkeeper batters operate at the top of the order. At 3, you'll have probably the central unit of this batting lineup in Shreyas Iyer. A lot of responsibility will be given on him while anchor the innings and make sure that the batters can bat around him freely. He will be expected to score some big runs for this team this time around. At 4, you'll have Marcus Stoinis. At 5, you'll have Glenn Maxwell. This means that the Punjab Kings in their top 5 have a wicketkeeper and 2 solid bowling options. This opens up a lot of possibilities for them, and that is why, in my opinion, they will play their extra batter. At number 6, you'll have Nihal Vadera, who, well, had been exceptional for the Mumbai Indians, and in my opinion is one of the best buys for Punjab Kings this season. He is a local boy, so he will be raring to go in front of his home crowd. At 7 is where I feel that they can play their extra batter. With the likes of Maxwell and Stoinis up the order who can, well, bowl 4 overs each in a T20 game, this is an opportunity for Punjab Kings to play an extra batter and use him as a floater. And in my opinion, that floater will be Priyansh Arya. They did go heavy for him in the auction and really looked interested in him. And in my opinion, this is a perfect chance for him to prove himself at this level. So putting him in number 7, but using him as a floater might be a great idea for the Punjab Kings. At 8, you have yet another all-rounder who did really well for them last season in Shashank Singh. He was retained by the franchise and he will be looking forward to paying that faith back. At number 9, you will have Marco Jansen. At 10, you'll have Harpreet Brar. And at 11, you will have Yuzvendra Chahal. Arshdeep Singh can come in as the impact player. This means that they have Marco Jansen coming in at number 9. That is insane depth by Punjab Kings. With Marco Jansen at number 9, they have the option of playing whoever the 2 bowlers they want and then using a 3rd bowler as the impact player. If they want to play an extra spinner, they have Harpreet Brar. If they want to play an extra pacer, they have Vaishak Vijaykumar who can come in. This time around, it seems like Punjab Kings have got their squad settled down, and with the help of the number of all-rounders, they look like they're a very well-balanced unit. They can pose a big total with these batters and can also chase down big totals because of the depth in their batting. I wouldn't be surprised if this team finishes in the top 4 just because of the depth in their batting lineup and the quality of their all-rounders this time around. It'll be a real surprise to me if this team doesn't finish in the top 4, but it'll be interesting to see how Shreyas Iyer can rally his troops and take them there.
This has been a video on breaking down the RCB squad and the Punjab Kings. If you have liked this video, like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. All of our links are in the description below. Please follow us on Instagram, and if you haven't followed our WhatsApp channel, do that too. We give you regular updates and there are a lot of things to learn. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.